Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. My name is Adil Sheikh. I'm the regional manager in New York City, and for that's for Helping Hand for Relief and Development. We have a podcast that we've started so that everybody everywhere can meet the team. We're calling it Giving is Living. Today we have Sheikh Gyasi McKinzie. We're going to dive right into it because Ramadan's around the corner and everybody's very busy. Sheikh, welcome to the podcast. Jazakallah khair for your time and your energy.
Thank you for inviting me. I'm very honored and pleased to be a guest here.
Okay, wonderful. Sheikh, tell us a fun fact about Sheikh Gyasi McKenzie.
A fun fact uh, Gyasi, which is a somewhat an unusual name, it means wonderful. It's a name from Ghana. My dad's name is Robert McKinzie. So, I was born in the 70s when many African Americans were trying to find their roots and trying to connect to quote unquote the motherland. So my dad named us all African names, names that reflected more of, I guess, our origins. So I'm Mr. Wonderful. That's my name, Gyasi, which means wonderful.
MashaAllah, I love it. So you were like one step away from being Bob Jr., basically. Okay. What are your hobbies and your interests, please?
I love to fish. That's my number one hobby. I guess. And I love to read and love to listen to podcasts. And I guess I would be qualified as a nerd, I guess. I like fun facts and geeky things, reviewing, going to the museum, things like that. So, and I'm an outdoor person. So those are my hobbies: outdoor fishing and love information and knowledge.
An outdoorsman, mashallah. Yeah. So so you're unfortunately an interesting person,
Yeah.
Mr. Wonderful himself. So fish, what kind of fish, what's your favorite fish to like what's the challenging one that you really like get the most satisfaction when you catch it?
Ah, so I always struggle when it comes to favorite color, favorite this. I don't know. I guess this may make people laugh, but the fish that I struggled with the most was actually a red snapper. Red snappers can not only are they tasty, but they can get quite heavy. So that's the one that put up the greatest fight. It wasn't a long fight, but I almost tapped out. And when you fish, it's a battle of wills. Basically, you cannot get the fish in until it's tired. He has the advantage, he or she, or it.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, I mean it's survival of the fittest, right?
Right.
You want to eat the fish, and the fish doesn't want to be eaten.
Right.
So I can understand where you're going with that. What about books? You're an avid reader, mashallah. That's awesome. So what can you maybe pick a book or two or three or say anything about a book that comes to mind? Maybe something that you read recently that
Right.
sticks out. Anything?
I love books about history and memoirs, lives of people. I've just recently read Nelson Mandela's memoir. Also, I read a book cast by Isabella Wilkinson. Very, very good book. Actually, was nominated by many magazines to be the best non-fictional book of 2020. And love science and, believe it or not, science fiction books. One other thing that's interesting is now I listen to books much, much more than I read them. So if I travel, I'm in the car, driving to the masjid, going on the flight, uh, it's in those situations, nowhere I'm reading. And um, if I read long enough, I'm going to get sleepy, unlike if I listen. So I'm an avid listener more than an avid reader. So, alhamdulillah, thank God for audiobooks.
Alhamdulillah. No, I'm with you on that. I think it helps us consume a lot more, um, knowledge than
Yes.
before Audible and such apps came out. Libby is really good, actually. It's a free app, and they work with Libby.
Mm.
Libby works with most major libraries, and it's free. So
Excellent.
it's very interesting.
You taught me
They
something today.
Yeah, yeah,
And hopefully
sure.
that advice is for free too.
I don't know about that. That I'm not sure. Well, I don't have your billing address, so maybe it is until I get that. So I just want to say something about how you said that you have a very hard time, picking favorite, colors or flavors, or, to
Exactly.
me, the first thing that comes to my mind when I hear something like that from someone like yourself is your level of gratitude is so high, mashallah, that you are okay with so many different things. I think that some people are like maybe not that grateful, and they're like, oh, I wanted the white one, oh, I wanted the brown one, I wanted the chocolate instead. And so I just wanted to say that, mashallah, good
Yeah,
for you.
perhaps that doesn't apply to me, but it's
Okay.
just maybe confusion. But I would like to think I have aware of gratitude and try to be grateful. But
Mashallah.
yes,
So about Nelson Mandela, just to get off on a side conversation real quick about that, very interesting information I came across. His dad was like a chief, right? And
exactly.
so the number one thing that he learned from his dad was his dad's listening skills were unparalleled, unbelievable
Right.
listening skills. He was always the last person in the room to talk,
Right.
and that is not an easy thing to to do. It's not an easy thing to get very good at, and
Right.
so I had a lot of respect for someone
Right.
like that. When I heard that was very interesting. So wonderful. Let's move on. Where did you grow up, Sheikh?
Uh, excellent question. This plays on what I mentioned earlier. So perhaps the reason that I'm an outdoor person is that I'm from the South. I grew up in Memphis, which is a city, but my mother is from Mississippi, which is relatively rural, from Hattiesburg, Mississippi. That's where she grew up. So we call that the country. So when I was growing up, we used to go there every summer and play with our cousins and grandmother and grandfather, uncle. And so, yeah, so I grew up in Memphis, but I was
Okay,
born in
awesome.
Washington, D.C., but I didn't stay there that long. My dad was in the military. And so um, I
Oh,
was
okay.
born and raised just a couple years in D.C.
Dad was in the military, mashallah. Okay, good,
Yeah.
cool. Yeah, we thank him for his service, mashallah. And so, Hasbro. Wow, that's so cool. That just sounds like a fun place, right? I think the toy maker,
No, no,
there's a toy
I'm
maker
sorry,
called Hasbro.
Hattiesburg.
Oh,
Hattis,
Hattiesburg. That doesn't
Hattiesburg.
sound fun at all.
Yes, but that's the city where USM, University of Southern
Okay.
Mississippi. Brett Favre. People who are familiar with the quarterback Brett Favre. That's
Okay.
his alma mater. That's where he went to school at. But it's not that famous, and so don't worry. It's not that well known. Neither is
Okay.
any city in Mississippi.
Yeah. Yeah. Sure. Absolutely.
And that's not
And
taking a
so,
swipe at them because my brother was born in Mississippi. We make fun of him, but still, Mississippi is part of my home. That's where I'm from.
yeah, that's cool. So where do you live now?
Dallas, Texas. So I've only lived in Tennessee. So I've lived in Memphis and Nashville, and in Texas I've lived in Houston and Dallas. So only the state of Arkansas separates me from Tennessee.
Okay.
So I'm in
All right.
Dallas, Texas. I've been here for the last 13 years about.
Okay. You like it there?
Most things I like.
Okay. Okay. All right. Yeah, no, cool. We have a lot of our brothers and sisters out there, and HHRD has a fabulous team, mashallah,
Right.
fabulous team.
Yes. Led
We're
by
gonna meet,
Sister Coca.
y-
Very,
yeah,
very strong, good team here. Yes.
mashallah. We're gonna meet some of them in the podcast
Yes.
in the upcoming segments, inshallah. So, how did HHRD find you, or how did you find HHRD? Which one was it, by the way?
They definitely found me. And the funny thing is, probably most people don't know this story. Even my colleagues, they found me, and I wasn't really looking to be found, which is funny. So my background is, and maybe this is for another podcast. I
Mm,
accepted Islam when I was in high school in the 11th grade.
mashallah.
The obviously became Muslim, went to the University of Houston. There, I met Sheikh Gyasi, who's a colleague of mine, and he told me about the university, the Islamic University of Medina. So though we're both majoring in chemical engineering, I said, this is a chance of a lifetime. And so I applied, and it was much different then. I never even got an official acceptance letter. So this tells you how different things were. It's not via internet and all this. So anyway, I got accepted and went to Medina and spent 7 years there. Graduated with a bachelor's in Islamic studies, theology, basically. Came back here and served as an imam, served as a chaplain in prison, as an Islamic studies teacher, youth director, and moved to Nashville, as I mentioned earlier, to go to Vanderbilt University to go to their theology program. Finished, and I was planning to go back to Memphis, join Sheikh Gyasi in my hometown. And I got an interview in Dallas, Texas, for a couple positions. It's a longer story, and I know podcasts are limited. But to make a long story short, it was a position to work in the humanitarian field. And I guess another interesting fact about me and my family is that,
please, one more.
We all, and this is not it. I mean, this is everybody. If you don't have a big paying job, you need a very fulfilling job. So that was the motto. So I was interested in it because being a chaplain, school teacher, youth director, all of these things are very fulfilling. They're not high paying, but anyway, fulfilling. So I took a chance and went to Dallas to work and with this organization and humanitarian relief work. It didn't go well. I mean, within the first month or two, I knew that it was a mistake. I should stick with being an imam, and I served as an imam, an assistant imam, and these types of things that I enjoyed. So I put in my resignation, and I was at Kroger. And I was about to leave, and I see one of my neighbors. And actually, I won't say his name right now, maybe later on, but he's a well-known and a member of ICNA. And he said, what are you doing? I said, well, I don't know. I just put in my resignation. I'm looking for something. So he said, Helping Hand has a position. And to be very honest, this was probably around 2010. I never heard of Helping Hand at that time, despite the fact I'm in a humanitarian field. Helping Hand was not established and was relatively unknown, even here in Dallas. And even at that time, I traveled around. So he said, why don't you call this brother named Ilyas Chaudhry?
I think I know him.
So we didn't have any presence even in Dallas. So this brother, and I'll give you his name, Adnan Tafsir. So he's the Secretary General of ICNA, big recognized name now. So he was just talking to me in passing. So I was like, okay, I will take his number and I'll call. I wasn't interested at all. And I think when I called, who's now my current supervisor, and he was my supervisor from the time I started about 11 years ago. He probably doesn't remember. I wasn't that friendly. And so I was like, Brother Adnan said that you're looking for help, and I promised I would call you. So what's up, basically? And he was very kind to me, very nice. And I said, okay, I guess I'll call back. And then he invited me to go to their annual review and planning meeting. I'm not even an employee. I go there, meet all of these people. Many of them were just big-hearted people, great people. Yeah. So I don't know if he's just a strategist. He was winning me over, and I'm not that valuable that he really put that much. That's just who he is. And I went from someone who wasn't interested to someone who was very much interested. And to be honest with you, even there was a salary reduction in salary, but it was fine because I had found people who were great. And I think you told me also, Brother Adil, if not you, someone very similar to you, meaning you have that life coach background. People don't leave jobs, they leave bosses. And same thing,
Mm,
they gravitate towards people. So it was the environment and Brother Ilyas, my supervisor, that really pulled me in, even though at that
yeah.
time Helping Hand was not well established and not the organization that it is today, the great and formidable organization that it is today.
In Ramadan, we fast, we care, and we give. We feed our hearts and souls, and we look after those who live with less, those who survive by eating little to nothing every day. This Ramadan, we can feed the fasting with Helping Hand USA. Share your plate. Donate at hhrd.org/Ramadan.
Yeah, so it's interesting you say that because that's twofold, right? And you've been with us 10 years, about you said?
I believe
Yeah,
over 10 years.
over 10 years. So that's twofold because people also stay because of their bosses. So that says a lot about Brother Ilyas, mashallah. Yeah.
Yes,
And
it
so
does.
we're going to do another series. It's going to be Trailblazers, and
Mm.
I may have you back on
Uh-oh.
and have some discussions from back in the day, like jog your
Okay.
memory
Mm.
about
Sounds exciting.
those
I like the
the
name
good old
Trailblazer. Sounds very
yeah
outdoorish. So
yeah, well, you would like that. Yeah, you're
adventurous. Yes.
partial. You're partial to it
Yes.
because of that, right? So what are some of the roles that you've had in Helping Hand for Relief and Development?
So first of all, we had to establish the office here. There was no office, and there was an employee before me, and there was really no events established. So the very first role was just to manage and to operate and establish Dallas. So that was number one. And
Okay.
then on top of that, I was uh, we had a responsibility of managing all of Texas, and as they say, everything in Texas is big, and that's true.
Yeah.
So all of
Yeah.
Texas, as well as Kansas, as well as New
Mm.
Mexico, as well as Oklahoma, Louisiana,
Wow.
Arkansas, and Mississippi. So
So
that was
we'll dive more into that and the
okay.
Trailblazers.
Right.
But so the different roles you've had with us are
So
mostly in Dallas.
right. So in Dallas, and then this South Central zone, I named the states, and then later on,
Hmm.
they had a fancy title for called the expansion team. So going to
Mm.
places that are very rural, and again, I guess that's the outdoor side of me. So going to places like Idaho, going to places like South Dakota, and we went on behalf of Helping Hand and made some establishments.
I think
So
there was a movie made about you guys. I
well,
saw that. It was really good. The expansion team. Yeah, that was a really good
so
movie.
that
Oh, that was the
role
Expendables. Oh, okay, sorry.
uh, and the last role, or I guess the current role, is in the programs department
Okay,
and working for the skills development and livelihood
mashallah. So that's a
project.
great a great segue because I wanted to ask you how you serve our beneficiaries right now, which you already answered. And so, tell us a little bit about the program, real quick, in a nutshell, and then we'll take it from there.
Right. So again, skills development and livelihood program. It is the development side of our one of the development side of our work. So nonprofits, a lot of them do relief and development. And development is really where you have a lot of energy nowadays. So we try to teach people skills, give them some type of skills or livelihood to help them um, be able to support themselves. And during my travels, I've really met a lot of people. They just needed a chance, they just needed an opportunity. So that's what we're trying to do so that they can support themselves, so that they can have a future. And that's, alhamdulillah, what I do. And I'm very blessed as a full-time job, just trying to help people get on their feet or get back on their feet.
So, Helping Hand for Relief and Development, it teaches people things to do that's going to help them make money. Is it mostly widows? What can we dive into it a little bit
So,
for
yeah,
us?
no, excellent. The beneficiaries are mostly women, and many of them are widows or single mothers
Mm,
or vulnerable people. So, I mean, very poor. And also, we have some youth as well, and they are mostly quote unquote vulnerable youth, meaning many of them don't have the funds to go to college, or they grew up in what they call slums overseas. We don't use that word here. I guess we
mm,
don't quote unquote have slum. That's another level,
hmm.
subhanAllah.
Yeah.
But those are the main people that we serve. So the vast majority are from that
So,
background.
how big is this program? How many beneficiaries? What
So
kind of budget is allocated? Whatever
excellent.
you are comfortable
Right. No, no, no.
sharing,
Excellent.
whatever you're prepared to
Alhamdulillah,
share.
we have started roughly around 2010, and obviously I didn't start with them, but it's been about 50,000 plus, maybe
MashaAllah,
by now 55,000
MashaAllah.
graduates, and we're in. It's hard to even keep up with the locations as they keep on expanding, mashallah, because it's a very
MashaAllah.
alhamdulillah fruitful program and 13 locations. So we have locations in Africa right now, in Kenya and Somalia. In the Middle East, we have in Jordan and Lebanon, and Asia. So we have, well, the Middle East is Asia, but moving further to the east, we have centers in Pakistan, Afghanistan, Nepal, the Philippines, and as well as in this side of the world, we are in the process of establishing, well, we have one in Haiti, and Mexico just started this year, and as well as Peru
Wait, so
started 2 years.
it's not only Muslim countries, Haiti,
Not
Mexico,
only Muslim
MashaAllah,
countries or countries in which Muslims have a significant population.
MashaAllah.
And alhamdulillah, our slogan or motto is Muslims for humanity. So
Yes.
um,
Yeah.
everyone is a beneficiary, is targeted, and so just not Muslims.
Oh no, that's
So
mashallah.
Hindus,
That's really. I think
Christians,
a lot of
Sikhs.
people don't realize that. I think that when they think of helping end for relief and development, they think, just Muslim refugees or Muslim, orphans or Muslim, uh, you know, uh, needy people all over the world, widows and so forth and so on. And that's not the case at all, as we know. And we will be doing a program series, so we're definitely going to have you back several times. Unfortunately,
Oh,
I'm so, or fortunately, whichever way you look at it. But what are some of the questions um, that you get most often? I think,
most
or
often people
yeah,
ask about classes. So they ask, what courses do you teach? What are you teaching them? And I think it sounded like you wanted to ask that question too.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
and it depends on the country and what is the economy like. But one of the hot and common classes is tailoring, embroidery, and we're talking about the spinning of wool and just really handmade, excellent, and then not just handmade. So you have stitching, and but also machines as well, using machines and weaving. So these courses are very hot, and especially in rural areas, which we have a strong presence, and they produce instant benefit. Um, You'll be surprised. One of our most successful courses is henna. Just
Mashallah.
the beautiful art. It provides an opportunity for the sisters to um, put these beautiful designs on women during the parties,
That's
nikah,
wonderful. That's wonderful.
marriage.
And they're able to make a somewhat of a living from it.
Yes,
That's
yes, for
wonderful. And
sure.
I'm
And
sure,
now we're
yeah.
trying to move into more advanced courses. So right now, they make up a lot of the bulk, cooking, motorcycle repair, um, mobile phone repairing. But we're trying to even advance it more so where it's more high level vocational. And I think that's the direction that we're going. And so just not rescuing them from poverty, but actually making them somewhat comfortable. We want them to have the average salary of Pakistan or of Kenya, of Somalia, of Peru. So we're really trying to give them dignity. And if that's an intangible, Brother Adil, that I want to let our audience know, because a lot of times they think about we're giving them money, we're giving them startup, we're giving them we give them soft skills and
Yeah.
training, ethical trainings, but we also give them. I like to think this, and I heard this from the teachers and those in the field: dignity and honor and
Mashallah.
self-esteem. And I
That's
mentioned that a lot. I
beautiful.
know I mentioned that to the colleagues, but I never forget. And it's a little emotional just thinking about it. But one lady,
Mashallah.
older lady, seemed to have a tremendous heart. She was one of the Nairobi. She was one of the people teaching, and she was saying to me, and I was coming visiting, trying to figure out what's going on and what have you. You just don't know where these ladies were at. Many of them couldn't lift up their heads and talk because they come from slums. They were told and thought that
Yeah.
they were nothing. And so many of them, they'd had no confidence. And we know even here we value confidence, and we know how valuable confidence is. And I've told this story many times, but it always seemed to touch me. So that's what you're giving. And you're giving people, again, dignity. A lot of people, and I've seen this too, they don't want the handout. They don't want, and some people willingly take pictures and want to thank the people. They really want to thank. And Sister Ramika, our orphan support program officer, she was just telling the staff about how people, when she meets them, she went to Pakistan recently, they just want to say thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, and she
Yeah.
feels so uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But that's one of the things that they're saying thank you, but what I want to say is some of the things that they're thanking us for, we may not know. They're intangible things, not just
Okay.
you were able to allow me to pay my bills, to do this, but it's a lot more that we're given. And may Allah allow us to really support and see the fruits in this world as well as the next life.
Mashallah. Jazakallah khair. In the next couple of minutes, as we're approaching 27 minutes here, so who's your favorite humanitarian? Why is that? And then a quote, a humanitarian quote, and then we'll wrap up.
Very, very, very difficult to say who's my favorite humanitarian. I remember favorite is difficult for
Oh
me.
boy.
I always
Yeah.
struggle with that. However, I will
Okay.
say who's on. People say it now, who's on your Mount Rushmore? I can do that. Who do you like?
Okay.
You asked me about
Sure.
fish. What do you like? I can do that. That's easy.
Sure.
One of the people that will perhaps surprise you, and this is honest, I'm not trying to be controversial or what have
No
you,
problem. That's fine. No, you do you.
but non-traditional. But one of the people, a lot of people who are humanitarian workers are not quote unquote full time. Many of the
Mm.
people who do a lot of work and make a lot of influence are quote unquote ordinary people, and they do extraordinary things. That's what Helping Hand
Great
taught
point.
me.
Mashallah. Great point.
Yes, but this person is extraordinary, and it's Muhammad Ali. Like what?
Mm.
The boxer, the boxer.
Mm.
I
Yeah.
went around, America and the world, and I see things that he have done in lives that he's touched in so many people. This will perhaps shock you too. I've got a chance to go so many a few countries and a few cities, and many of the older people say, "I met Muhammad Ali. I met him. I met." All these places. I never met him. I guess I'm not old enough. I'm. I guess I'll keep that to another section.
Yeah.
My age. But what I'm saying is that's what a humanitarian person is, down to earth. So when he went to Ghana, when he went to Sudan, when he went to Saudi Arabia, when just the regular people met him, and not just giving. And I was just in LA not too long ago, and I saw a message that he contributed to right by USC. So you see his work standing today, though he's passed away. And many humanitarians are like that, and many people. And that's actually a good point to end with. Somewhat the donors. many times your impact is in places and you really don't know. I mean, he knew, but you can spread your seeds, and that's what he was able to do. And we're blessed here in America to have a lot of discretionary cash and to help in so many ways. And you never know how it
Alhamdulillah.
multiplies. So Muhammad Ali is actually one of
Alhamdulillah.
the ones that I have to say.
Okay. Wonderful. Do you have a quote from him, or we can skip that? That's okay.
We can
Okay.
skip
That's
this
fine.
quote. Yeah.
Yeah, no. So the fact that you actually are in charge of teaching people how to fish, instead of giving them fish is fabulous,
I see
mashallah.
what you're
And may
doing.
Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put barakah in your own life
I
and
mean,
make your own life much easier and reward you accordingly. Jazakallah khair for your time, your energy. I love talking to you. I love your personality. Is there anything that you want to say to the listeners before we depart?
Not all heroes wear capes. There are those who care to help, even if they remain unnoticed. There are those who would not rest until they make sure that widows, orphans, refugees, and the disabled are not left alone. With Helping Hand USA, you can help save lives. Help us provide healthcare and nutrition services to those who need it most. This Ramadan, give the gift of health. Donate at hhrd.org/Ramadan.
no, first of all, I really, really enjoy talking to you, and I think we have a lot in common in background, our background. But despite that you're a New Yorker, a Yankee, but I was a Mets fan too, by the way. I grew up playing baseball.
So was I. I think I told you in the
Yes,
80s.
yes,
Yeah,
yes.
early 90s.
Yes, so we have a lot in common. But I just wanted to say thank you first of all, and the last thing is basically don't belittle whatever you do. Even the Prophet, peace and blessing be upon him, said, "Save yourself, even with a half of a date. Don't trivialize anything." And as I was saying, you just don't know. And I've been blessed to travel to a few places and recognize. I remember, and this may really shock you, and maybe this is straight from the heart, not planned. One of my most memorable moments was in the Bahamas. I've never been to the Bahamas besides for relief work, but the time I got on the plane and they learned that I was there for helping the victims of the hurricane, so I left, and I'm not lying. People just saying thank you, like thank you for your service, thank you for coming. The flight attendant, when I was leaving the plane, she's like, "Oh, what takes you to Bahamas?" People go there, and I love to fish. I didn't get a chance to fish, and I came there with a mission. But I said, "I'm here for relief work." She's like, "Before you go, I'm gonna give you a bottle of water." She wanted to be a part of it, and it's just so imagine. I was just saying, don't belittle anything. She gave me a bottle of water, a big one, by the way. It's like she wanted to be part of it. Like, and that was the first thing. And believe it or not, I still remember that now. That bottle of water that she gave me, and she didn't trivialize that. She wanted to be part of it. Hey, you're coming to help Bahamas, my people, and this and that. Do something. Yeah, you can save. And water's expensive there too. Everything's expensive there. So don't belittle anything. And this was a flight attendant, and this is the nature of many people. They want to see good, and you can be a part of giving that good and making a difference in the world.
Ameen. Inshallah. Jazakallah khair for that. I love it. That's an awesome way to end. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Jazakallah khair. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.